Wow, wow, wow. All I can say is wow, this is amazing. This is like the best day ever. Later this week, there are going to be reworks released on Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine. This is like the best thing ever. The two issues that were with these characters are completely resolved. Darth Vader was too slow and Emperor Palpatine was too squishy. I'm going to call it right now. This is a direct counter to Rebel and Jedi teams, and I believe this is going to be the end of the Commander Luke meta. I do not feel, however, that it is going to drastically impact Jedi Training Rey. Let's get into the kits, and we're going to talk about what the difference is. His basic attack, Terrifying Swing, deal physical damage to target enemy with an 80% chance to inflict ability block for 1 turn. Jedi and Rebel targets cannot evade or resist the effects of this attack. Now, Rebels was added before this was just Jedi. That is very important because that will now affect R2, Commander Luke, and Raid Han. And having an 80% chance to inflict ability block to be able to go through Foresight is very, very important because Thrawn on his basic attack will stun somebody if they have ability block. Plus, because Darth Vader is going to be much faster now, putting this ability block on R2, if Darth Vader is faster than R2, could be very cool. That could stop this stealth from happening, and that is amazing. Force Crush, deal physical damage to all enemies and inflict speed down and 3 damage over time effects for 2 turns. This is huge. This attack can't be countered. Before, you would do Force Crush with Commander Luke lead. All of them would counterattack and pretty much clean out and almost kill Darth Vader. Now this attack cannot be countered. This is similar to Sabine. Her AoE cannot be countered also. Under Emperor Palpatine lead, using Force Crushed almost always means that he will go back to back. He will go right after that. Very often he will do Culling Blade. If you look right here in the zombie attack, Darth Vader goes first. He does Force Crushed. He Culling Blades the Night Sister zombie and then attacks 3 turns before the enemy has gone. Now this is the most amazing right here. A unique is it is a Zeta ability. At the start of each encounter, Darth Vader gains 8 speed until the end of that encounter for each of the following: Empire ally, Sith ally, Jedi enemy, Rebel enemy. Darth Vader is immune to turn meter reduction, that's very important, and recovers 5% health when a damage over time effect on an enemy expires. So, Darth Vader is very, very fast. Now, I don't want to jump to conclusions, especially against Jedi Training Rey teams, but in the footage provided, it looked like Darth Vader was slower than BB-8, but faster than R2-D2, but that could be because of mods. When I get this in the test account and I can test it out, I'll be able to tell. Really, for me, all of these reworks are going to come down to how does it work against Jedi Training Rey. It's going to be pretty obvious that pretty brutal against Commander Luke teams and Jedi teams, but how is it going to do against Jedi Training Rey? Now, immune to turn meter reduction, so when you're playing against Darth Vader, using abilities that like Jedi Training Rey has, or Commander Luke's middle ability that will no longer remove turn meter, which is very helpful, making Darth Vader a better opponent. And then recovering 5% health with a damage over time effect when an enemy expires means that he's going to be gaining health constantly, almost like a turret and base thing where you're going to have to almost kill him in 1 turn because he's going to be gaining health, especially if there's a Darth Vader lead. There's some footage here of a Darth Vader lead with the damage over times expiring and then reapplying, and he's just gaining tons of health all the time. Now, let's take a look at Emperor Palpatine. They did kind of nerf one of his abilities, but there's good reason for it. And the main problem with Palpatine was that he was squishy, but he's always been very, very good because of his ability to do mass stuns, which just makes him incredibly overpowered, really, in a lot of ways. He just was squishy before. They added the text right here that explains what Shock does: can't gain health, buffs, or bonus turn meter. His special one, which is the amazing one, Power of the Dark Side, deal special damage to all enemies with 70% chance to stun them from 1 turn. shocked enemies are stunned for 2 turns and have their shock dispelled. Now, all allies gain offense up for 2 turns. So that was something that was on Let the Hate Flow, and now it has been moved over to the Power of the Dark Side. Power of the Dark Side is the ability that you want to use right out of the gate, and if you could stun 2 or 3 or 4 or even 5 enemies, this was always amazing, and you get turn meter if there's a Palpatine lead. People were putting Palpatine in teams just because of this ability. If you can stun them and you can get him fast enough to go before everybody else, this is huge. And now all the allies gain offense up. Now Let the Hate Flow. All other units use 5% health, and Palpatine recovers health equal to 150% of the total amount lost. Palpatine gains 50% turn meter for each shocked enemy. Now, before the text read that the shock was extended for 2 turns, that was removed, and we're going to see why, because on his unique ability, it would not make sense to have the shock around indefinitely. It definitely would be abusable. All allies gain health up steal for 1 turn. Now, this is very curious to me on how this would work on a Nihilus lead team. We will have to see in the weeks when this comes out. Leadership ability now has a Zeta ability. Empire and Sith allies have 35% potency and max health. That was boosted up from 32%. And then also the negative effect to Jedi and Rebel enemies, minus 35% potency and 35% evasion. Now, when an Empire ally inflicts a debuff during their turn, they gain 20% turn meter. This has always been a good ability. And when a Sith ally inflicts a debuff during their turn, they recover 20% health. So what's really cool is Darth Vader is Empire and Sith, as well as Palpatine, so they're getting both of those buffs. When a debuff on an enemy expires, Empire and Sith allies gain 5% turn meter. Now this is very, very cool. With Darth Vader has tons of damage over time and speed down. If they're cleansed, immediately all Empire and Sith allies gain 5% turn meter. Now Crackling Doom, this is really, really, really good. Boy, I feel bad for Old Man, Ezra, and Kanan. While Palpatine is active at the start of each enemy turn, they take damage equal to 20% of their max health for each of the following. They are shocked, they are Jedi, they are rebels. So there could be up to a 60% of their max health, which is crazy. Palpatine has 50% max protection, so he's going to be a lot more durable. When he inflicts shock, he gains 5% max protection at the end of the encounter. I think that also might be interesting under a Nihilus lead, because that'll make him have a lot more health because the protection is converted to health. And then if he is able to give everybody health steal, that would be amazing. Now let's take a look at this battle. I do want to say I think that there are a lot of combos with Vader and Wampa, because Wampa is going to be very important if you're going to use Darth Vader, especially with the Darth Vader lead. But this is a very good team composition right here. I like it very much, and I'm just going to kind of go through play by play and how it works. Now, even though this is the first part of the clip, it looks like BB-8 has already gone and done secret intel, and that has popped up on R2-D2. So Darth Vader is going to go right after, the way it looks like on this match right here, BB-8. When he goes, he's going to do Force Crush. And of course, because Palpatine is lead, his turn meter goes to 100% right out of the gate. So that is very good. Look at all these negative status effects. Now, he can go again. Now, what I would have preferred for him to do is to use his Terrifying Swing on R2-D2, who is a rebel, and there would be an 80% chance that he would get ability block, which would stop him from going into stealth. Or he could go for Kenobi, and maybe the ability block will stick, which will prevent the cleanse. It does not happen right there. Jedi Training Rey goes, and R2-D2 stuns Shore Trooper immediately after that. Now, let's take a look back right there at the beginning of both R2-D2 and Commander Luke's turn. They are taking damage equal to 20% of their health because of Palpatine's unique ability. And that is the number showing up there in white. And then again right there on Commander Luke. And that is from Palpatine. So that is very, very cool. Now, every time a negative status effect disappears or expires, Like right there, that is giving turn meter to the entire team. So all of the Empire team gained, Empire and Sith right there gained turn meter. And then Darth Vader also is gaining health every time one of his damage over time abilities disappear. Now, this is where it gets very interesting. We get the shock to go off, and Commander General Kenobi is going to cleanse, and that is giving tons of turn meter to the Empire and the Sith. So you can see that they're just going all the time. The turn meter advantage is insane. Now, with this assist that happens right here with General Kenobi in just a moment, it's going to be a swarm attack. Everybody has offense up for Emperor Palpatine, which is very good. Emperor Palpatine is going to inflict shock, and Darth Vader is going to inflict ability block, and their turn meter is going to go to 100%. So they're actually going to go before Jedi Training Rey. Check this out. Assist. And they're going before Rey. Now, Palpatine gets turn meter based on the number of enemies having shock and also inflicting shock. So he gets lots of turn meter right there. Jedi Training Rey knocked it down a little bit. Now, right here, Darth Vader has an option to attack General Kenobi or Commander Luke. Because Commander Luke is a rebel, that effect of inflicting 80% chance of ability block cannot be resisted or evaded. I think that would have been the smart choice there, because that also pairs well with Thrawn. Thrawn can stun anybody that has ability block with his basic attack. Battle goes on from right here, and I just want to say I'm going to let this play out, and you can just see how it goes, and I think the results are very favorable. I do not want to jump to any conclusions, so I'm suggesting to wait until everybody has this in our test accounts and we can put out videos to determine how good they really are, because what's going to happen is that there's a total of 3 Zetas to make everything work. Darth Vader has 2 Zetas now. Emperor Palpatine has 2 Zetas now. Most people already have the leadership ability already Zeted out on Darth Vader, Zeting out his unique ability, and then Palpatine's unique and the leadership ability will be seen. I think a lot of people are going to be really excited about this, because almost everybody has very high leveled out Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader. So other than the 3 Zetas, it's not going to be a huge gear crunch or gear grind to get it going. I think there's going to be so many different combinations where these teams work. The real trick is going to be, is it a better than this Jedi Training Rey? This is developer footage, subject to change, but I got to test it out in the test account to know for sure. Pretty sure that Commander Luke-led teams are going to be a thing of a past, and that Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader are direct counters. Now, I also want to say there is a ton of more stuff coming to the game. This is just the beginning of what's happening this month. There is an event at the end of February in Sacramento that the Game Changers are attending, and when we go up there, there's going to be something big. I just get the feeling it's going to be big, and I believe that it's going to be complementary to these reworks, and this is just the beginning of something bigger. I'm very excited about the dark side, and I'm very excited about what's to come, and we'll just have to wait and see what it is. This match is pretty much over because of the fracture on Rey. Although if Thrawn was not on this team and Rey was not been fractured, that actually could have been pretty tricky. So that was great timing. All right, are you excited about these reworks? I know I am. These are amazing. I'm really excited about it. Be sure to check back in a couple of days when I have them in the test account and I can make videos about that. And as always, thanks for watching and keep on gaming.